We wish you a very merry Finnish summer. You'll understand here in a minute. Dingus mixed wine, also known as James. Brother, I'm surprised you're not over there hanging out with Simon. Okay, for all of those who just went deaf, I apologize. I keep forgetting to put this thing on temporary mute. I might get there one day. It's on temporary mute now. Howdy, Steve, and Miss Kathy, if you're there as well. Found out a couple of hours ago, Robert's not going to be doing a live today. Howdy, Todd. Great to see y'all. Great to see all of y'all. Robert's not going live today. He put out a little 15-second video about 2 hours ago, just in case anybody's wondering where I got my information from. So if he does go live, it'll be a shock to me. Oh, the mail guy's here. Yay. Let's see if he's got anything going in there that's going to be too big for the box. Nope. Have a good weekend! Boris! Huva ilta! Boris, it is Finnish summer, brother. Got up to 80 degrees. I mean, seriously, I broke it all the way down into shorts. I'm not kidding. 80 degrees. It's like a sauna in here. I might get in trouble for copyright infringement using that statement. But the Finnish are very big on saunas or Sony Ericsson. No, that's not Finnish. Fiskars is Fiskars. Actually, Fiskars is not how they say it. It's Fiskars. Don't ask me how I learned that. It's a long story. Well, Boris, that's what I'm saying. It's a hot summer day here. It's a hot Finnish summer day here in February in Houston. Now, later this evening, it's going to fall off into the 30s. Yeah, Steve, that's pretty much what I figured, is that Karen and Stonehaven and Mac Cleland And, well, the whole Leslie family just decided to call in sick, and well, I'm not gonna try and tell somebody that you gotta show up. You took the job. I mean, I would show up. Sick as hell, why not? I'd even show up if I was anything other than kidney stones. But if I could just sit here and smoke a cigar, I would even show up with kidney stones. Now, if I was just sitting here and I suddenly had a kidney stone attack, I think I would let y'all know, I think I'm having a kidney stone attack. I'm going to the hospital, thanks. Or I would try to prove that I'm man enough to handle it as I cry and puke on my shoes. Boris, I would believe it, sir. 3 million saunas and less than 6 million people. Yeah. That sounds like a recipe for a damn good party. Ah, there's the Martin. I'm out here in t-shirt and shorts. I already showed that I'm in t-shirt and shorts. I'm not going to do it again, just to prove myself. 80 degrees. Dead serious. 80 degrees. It's February. Now I'm going to tell you how amazing this statement is, that it's 80 degrees today. 1 year ago, plus 1 day, Boris was out. Well, I was out here and Boris was hanging with me as I smoked a cigar. No, I smoked the General Cobb. That's the biggest bold cob or biggest bold pipe that I had at the time. I smoked that full of tobacco. I stayed out here as long as I possibly could while that pipe was still going. And 15 degree weather last year plus 1 day. So, yeah. And now this year it's only 80 degrees. How's that for global warming for you? You filthy animals. No, nobody's a filthy animal but me. I know. Don't worry about it. Just playing around here. All right. Here's one for, I think they're after me. It might be a Black Hawk. No, that's the Southwest plane. Oh, let's see. What do we got? Nope, it's one of those evil eggs. Oh, gosh. Let me count them up without trying to figure that out there, Steve. I've got I've got 7 cobs. Completes a 7-day set, of course. I've got 2 that I've made. A Falcon, a Meerschaum, two little monstrosity pipes that were basically out of garage sales. Um, a Jonas design, a TPI, a basket pipe that I worked on and screwed up, but 15, somewhere between 15 and 20. Yeah, that's about how many pipes I've got. Yes, Sharon, I am okay. Howdy, ma'am, and how are you? Martin, yeah, it seems to be that Robert is not going live as he is going to battle the COVID. So, Martin, here's that trick for you. Remember I showed you this trick? Just in case. Show y'all that I can do it too. Makes it real easy to cut your cigar without jacking up your cap. Though I will tell you that for me, it cuts off just a little bit too much, because I would have just chiseled away a little hole in the end of the cap with my knife. But I wanted to remind people of that little trick, just in case. Thin cutter, flat on a surface, cigar in there, squeeze it shut with the surface here. You just have to hold it pretty much straight. Works great. Well, Boris, I could. I mean, because I'm just wearing these completely sandal type. It was raining earlier today, and I was doing stuff around in the yard, and I wanted something that if it got wet would dry out immediately, and so I've been wearing them all day. Haven't taken them off. Well, took one off just now, sort of. Sounds like a nice little collection. It's not bad. There are a lot of people that have a much nicer collection. But I'm not jealous or envious. I'm just happy with what I got. There's times I look at other pipes, and very rarely do I get that PAD. That would be pipe acquisition disorder. Very rarely do I have to have another pipe. I guess the trick is keep them clean and smoke what you like. That way you get around to saying, well, I mean, you know, I don't have to have another pipe. I'm fine. Well, that and I smoke cigars. That really keeps pipe acquisition disorder down. Because cigars are expensive. Just the truth of it. I mean, there's one of my favorites right here. Steph calls it the elephant because it kind of looks like an elephant from this angle. I've got 2 more pipes in the works that I'm working on trying to get them completed right now. One I've been working on for forever, and I'm down to the point where what I really need is a small bar of carnauba wax, and I keep forgetting to order it. It's my fault. I'm just like any other human. I could be lazy if I'm allowed to be. If I allow myself to be. I don't allow myself to be very often. But that's just because I'm the meanest person I know. Nobody else would survive doing to me what I've done to me. Woo, Miss Kathy. Oh yeah. Look, I understand. But I've never really been the kind of person that has that, oh, I want it. I want more. I want more. I want more. I mean, I like having stuff, sure, but well, James, hopefully you'll be done by the time this cigar's done. That way we can all just jump over and go to the Dingus McSwine Heist Live on a Thursday night. No, Boris, you're like officially retired though, right? Me, I'm like I'm still too young. I want a job. When the world stops doing all this craziness with COVID, I'll get a job. When the variants get to the point where they're like, yes, it's the common cold again, I'll have a job. That's the only thing that pisses me off about Boris. He's old enough to retire and has less gray in his beard than I do. Here, I was the one that has the baby face that always looks so much younger than I actually am. Now I know I'm just trying to catch up with Boris. Of course, y'all have seen me shaved, and y'all know if I shave, I lose a few years. But I'm starting to develop that gray streak here along the sides that tells me I'm gonna be able to pull off the Doctor Strange, you know, the gray streaks, goatee. Okay, I'm never gonna pull off Doctor Strange. I can't grow that good of a goatee. Howdy, Ben. Great to see you, sir. Now, I am not going to try and... Howdy, Derek. Great to see you, sir. I am not going to try and twist anybody's arm and say, hey, somebody wants to pick up that time space that Robert would normally fill in, or fill in for Robert. No. Now, if any of y'all wants to, I don't think too many people are going to complain about it. The easiest way to do that would be like, hey, fill it in for Robert while he's down with the COVID. But I'm not trying to twist anybody's arms. Howdy, Ron. Great to see you, sir. Oh yeah, no, Rod. I'm not pulling off the Doctor Strange thing. It's. I am just not handsome enough, and I cannot see without these glasses, so that completely ruins the whole thing. But the hair's getting there. That was the point I was saying. The hair is getting there. I mean, you can see that it's gray there, but if I lift that a little bit, well, never mind. It just all looks gray now. When it's wet, right after a shower, first thing in the morning, it looks dark with these gray streaks. I guess as it dries out, but you know, a little bit of just for men, and I could fix that up. Oh, Steve, yeah. Maybe Svengoolie? I'm not even sure who Svengoolie is. I'm too tall to be Wolverine and nowhere near muscular enough. Though we weigh in the same category. Some of y'all know the reason why that's funny. Ah, Cohiba Blue Classico. Very nice. Today I am smoking a Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva Robusto. Quite literally what it came down to was I wanted to show y'all that trick and remind you of that trick with the cigar, cutting the cigar that is, without destroying a cigar that I was super enthused to have. I always try to spread a little bit of cigar knowledge, as y'all know, without trying to cram it down your throats. Granted, there's been some tailgates where it was like trying to cram it down people's throats, for which I apologize. It is not that I am trying to educate or force feed you cigar knowledge. I don't want to see my friends and my peoples getting taken advantage of by tobacconists that don't know. There's a lot of them out there. Trust me, there's a lot of them out there. Well, Martin, there is that statement. I believe that the statement is you don't need to deep throat the damn thing. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I got you. Oh, Piper said. Oh, that's going to take me a while to finish off that small baggie of Captain Black Grape. I will do it just so that nobody else is forced into such horrible things. But oh yeah, Willie graped me. I like most of the Habano cigars. I think it has something to do with the wrapper. and the in general flavors that you tend to get out of a Habano. It's a bit more stout than a Connecticut, but it's lighter and personal opinion, a little bit creamier than most of the Maduros. Not all. There's some very smooth Maduros, so you got to kind of always watch out for that. Martin, really? You think anything on this channel is too vulgar? Come on, man. Oh yeah, that's the only thing that'll cover up Captain Black Grape is a Groovy Blue. I'm not smoking that. Boris, quite honestly, I'm thinking about Carolina Reapers. I'm really thinking I might smoke that on April Fool's Day. Of course, because hopefully I'm having some really, really hot, spicy as hell chocolate. Howdy, Tony. Great to see you, sir. Oh. I'm going to tell a joke. And Tony, don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me. Just remember two things. One, my mother, her family is Italian. And two, I still think this joke is just funny. And it's not to pick on you, Tony. It's not. All right. Do you know why most Italians are named Tony? See, this comes from fact. Back in the old days, they didn't speak very good English. And when they'd immigrate from Italy, and they'd get on the boat and they'd go all the way over to New York, so that they knew when to get off of the boat, they would put it on their forehead, to New York. Tony. Now, Tony, if that has in any way, shape, or form offended you, let me know. I will figure out a way to make it up to you. The other one that my mother told me, and she said, yeah, this one will get you killed if you start talking to real Italians. But have you heard about the Italian helicopter pilot? Now, this one comes from my mother, so don't get mad at me. She's half Italian. I'm only quarter. Oh, Ben, I hope that wasn't a new one for you. Come on, man. Oh, all right. So the Italian helicopter pilot. Remember, this one gets a little racy there. Well, Dago here and Dago there, but mostly Dago wop, 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 wop. Oh, by the way, some member of my mom's family was like coming over to the United States during World War I, and they did not have a pass, so they were without pass, which is how the whole statement of WAP came about. I are one, or at least related to one, so if y'all want to be really pissed at that joke, y'all go right ahead. I'm making fun of me. What do you want? Of course, I was never a helicopter pilot. But I guess it's okay because I'm only talking about my own peoples. I mean, if you're Jewish and you talk about Jews, you're okay, right? Because you are one. Everybody talks about the Finnish, but nobody says anything bad about the Finnish. Maybe it's because they're the happiest people on the planet with the crappiest coffee, according to a good friend of ours. He'll agree with me here in any second. Ben, if you didn't know that's what that racial slur about Italians meant, you do now. Really? Because you called yourself a hunk? Really? I don't go on Facebook anymore. I even took off the little email postings that they used to do to tell me that someone's having a birthday. Well, Martin, there's too much blood in your alcohol system. Abstaining for 3 weeks didn't do you any good. We'll get you back up there, though. Just start your show on time, or maybe even a little early. That's just more time to drink. You know we're going to come up with more shots. Yeah, Ben. It's an interesting thing. Now, Steve, I'm gonna let you tell that story because I'm not sure that I've actually got the right story. Oh, all right. See, there we go. Boris is agreeing with me that they're the happiest people on the planet with the worst coffee. But I wouldn't have known about the worst coffee except for the fact that Boris has said so many times. I do pay attention. He doesn't make videos, but oh, Steve, seriously, I'm not going to try and get into the whole Geronimo thing. I don't yell Geronimo. I'm more like just lucky that I'm not in a full panic after I hit free fall. Not really good with heights. Never was. Not really going to get that way. I'm okay in an aircraft. I'm okay with a parachute. I'm okay with a static line. Ah, Tony, this of course is a Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva, Connecticut, I believe. You'll find it with the little cedar tube wrapped around it and the green ribbon. And I guess it would be called the Chateau Fuente if you're looking for them specifically. Well, Boris, I want to tell you, I put a really deep dent in that coffee theory back when I was working in the plants. I would wake up, brew 2 pots of coffee. One would go into a big, gigantic thermos, and one would go into a mug, travel type mug. And I would drink that one mug on the way to work, take a gigantic piss, and then I would drink that thermos all day long. 2 pots of coffee every day. And sometimes when I got home, I'd brew another pot. I'm not sure if that's competing on the finish level, but I try. I try. Now I do not drink that kind of coffee anymore because, well, you know what? They tell me that it contributes to kidney stones, and I've limited it down to 1 or 2 cups a day. Rarely do I drink a 3rd cup, and it's really rare if I'm having 3 cups in a day. Not because I can't handle the caffeine, but because I can't handle the kidney stones. Oh, hell no. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate that. It's a decent stick. It's not going to break the budget, but it's also not going to turn you out and tell you that you picked up a dog of a stick. They stay lit very well. You can have a good conversation with just a couple of puffs in between. That's always where one of those things that people completely forget to judge a cigar by how well it stays lit, even when you're having a conversation with friends. I mean, you might be making a point and it might take you a little bit. Will your cigar stay lit? Then it's a good stick. Construction wise, that's basically what I'm saying there. There's lots of little things that'll tell you whether a cigar is a good cigar or a great cigar, or you're not going to find very many cigars that are $5 cigars that you're going to run right out there and go, damn, this was a great cigar. I found a few. But it ain't many. Those are those rare hidden gems that nobody's talking about. What's good about this one is that in between big puffs, it tends to sweeten in the mouth. And it goes a little bit more sweet and a little bit more sweet. Then it levels out. It doesn't just keep sweetening, but you get that nice tobacco. the flavors of it. It's right there, not too peppery. So if for anybody who's really no, not doing pepper, it's too much, this is a good one to try. Now, if y'all want to see pepper, I'll go find you some pepper sticks. Y'all know I like the peppery ones, huh? Ever since last April 1st. Howdy, Cliff Higgins. Great to see you, sir. How are you doing, my friend? Oh, and I'd like to know the price on that Kevlar pajamas. I've given up on asbestos pajamas, mostly because I figure if she's going to burn me alive, she'll probably douse them with enough fluid to make sure I burn even through the asbestos. But I also don't need the lung cancer. Look at that. Cliff is loved more than me. Nobody says hi to me this way. No, guys, just play it. I know. All of y'all have normally said hi and howdy to me right back. And there's a lot of times where I just come in and say howdy from Houston, and then I sit back and watch. Even though a lot of people will say, hey, Donald. Sometimes I'm just hoping the chat gets going back to what it was doing. But I'm also trying to let everybody know, hey, that's what really howdy from Houston means, is like howdy all. Hello to every one of you. Keyword there, Cliff. Keyword. Yet. So, Cliff, do you need me to watch the Knife and the Cane while you're at Muletown? Oh, that's right. You're taking the cane to Muletown, just to make sure. Well, you might want to take the knife too, just in case you find yourself with a plug you want to cut. Damn it, never mind. I guess I will not put in for my timeshare. Keep dropping weight. Tell you what, Martin. Fastest weight I ever dropped, I dropped about 125 pounds with just one signature. It costs, but divorce, you can drop a lot of weight with one signature. Woo! Martin, I'm not even sure what you would do with a hand-and-a-half sword that is three-sided and razor sharp. That would be pretty interesting, though. I mean, could you imagine all the way from tip to nib is nothing but that reamer? Whoo! Well, Cliff, take the fancy sheath, because it's got snaps. You might hear it open when she goes to using it. That first sheath is pretty nice too, don't get me wrong, but if you take the one with the snap on it, you'll hear that tick. That's when you know the dentist is about to die. Oh no, I knew what the Columbia necktie was. I knew. But, you know, according to FBI sources, women are more prone to poison a guy anyways. There's a good point there, Ben. You ever have to storm a castle? You want a Phil Rivera reamer. Full cane length. And possibly the one that fits conveniently on the large hip flask. Howdy, Robert. Robert, don't worry about it, brother. Get well. That's the only thing that really matters. But I didn't know if everybody's going to see your 15-second video saying, hey, you're not going to be here this week because you're feeling under the weather. And, well, I did, so I still said, you know what, I'm still going to tailgate. Cliff, that's because they think that you're trying to purchase something on my live. And we all know what is exported from Colombia. But don't worry, nobody's selling any booger sugar on my live. Just not happening. Ah, good old bronchitis. Well, get over that stuff quick. You don't want it to turn into walking pneumonia. Had it once. Damn near killed me. Yeah, you should get Karen a mask. That is true, Steve. I have seen that he does a whole lot of the cooking there at his house. Robert has snuff. I'm telling. By the way, if anybody's looking for a place to get snuff, Google well, if anybody in America is looking for snuff, Google the Briar Shop. And They ship to anywhere in America that's legal to ship to, and they say they have the largest selection. I don't know. You'll have to call them and ask them what their selection is, because their website is horrible. But you Google that and it'll bring it up. Ah, more like Flim Gems. That'd be a hell of a product. Snap it to a Flim Gem. Windy and cold. Cliff, 80 degrees. T-shirt, shorts, and sandals weather, brother. And that's what I'm wearing. I proved it already. It was a hot finish summer day. But it's pretty windy here as well, so... Oh, and the temperature's actually finally starting to drop. It's supposed to get down to 30. It'll probably only be just above 60 by the time I get off of here. And look how slow that cigar is smoking. Steve, that's why I moved south and stayed there. I am not built for the cold. I know I'm not. I don't do well with the cold. I mean, I know what to do so that I can tolerate it. I know to put more layers on. Boris can vouch for me. I was out in some pretty cold weather smoking a pipe once. Not cold for him, but extremely cold for Houston. Funny thing though, I used to have a Harley before I hit a patch of sand and it took a kneecap. But way back in the day, it got up to 16 degrees. That is a 1 and a 6 in the Boston, Massachusetts area. In fact, I was in Braintree, Massachusetts at the time. And I had my truck and a trailer and the bike. Robert, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Make sure you're drinking and not snorting the rock. You're on your own with the rye. Ah, Ben knows where Braintree is, yes. So I was in Braintree, Massachusetts. And it got up to 16 degrees. But it was this beautiful blue sky. And it didn't snow for a couple of days. And they cleared all the ice and snow off the roadways, because they're efficient there in Massachusetts. And I decided I was going to take the Harley out to the end of the Cape. And if you look at a map of Massachusetts, you'll see that there's this hook that comes around and circles back. Well, I went from Braintree, Massachusetts, all the way to the end of the Cape. And then I had to come all the way back. It never got above 16. Well, I think it might have gotten up to 22 at one point. But we were staying in Braintree and working in Brockton. which I also thought was really cool. And there was this stupid Texan getting out there on a motorcycle and going balls to the wall, trying to go all the way around the Cape and all the way back. I felt like an icicle when I got done. Steve, yeah, we've got a whole bunch of them down here, don't we? Oh yeah. Boris, definitely warm this year for February. Definitely cold last year for February. I'm not trying to compete with you though. I don't want to. You win. I'll throw in the towel already. Oh, and why Brockton was such a major cool thing was because, have you ever heard of the Brockton Bomber? Some of y'all know about some boxing. Y'all might have heard of the Brockton Bomber. Guy who went on to become the heavyweight champion of the world in boxing and retired undefeated. Yes, Rocky Marciano. Oh, Scott. I was definitely a complete ice of myself. Yes. Yeah, I agree with you entirely. Howdy, Scott. Great to see you, sir. But yeah, they told me I couldn't do it, and there was once a president of the United States, and he said one thing is guaranteed: if you absolutely have to get it done, tell somebody in Texas that it can't be done, and then just sit back and wait. He was talking about getting to the moon. Somebody named Kennedy said, "Let's do it." A bunch of engineers finally came around to saying, "It's just not possible." Y'all remember when they're up in space, where they're talking to is NASA in Houston? That's Texas. Oh, Scott, yeah, there is that. Luckily, though, it was a Harley, so with it being air-cooled, I could take the hand that was coldest and put it down over here by the engine and get it a little warm, and then I could take the other hand and put it there. And I had a small little set screw on my on the accelerator side that would allow me to put a little more resistance in there. If I set it just right, for about 35 miles, it would act just like a like cruise control. It would just keep it just steady for about 35 miles, and then the vibration would finally, it would wiggle loose. But for a good 35 miles, you could keep your hand right there by the engine, and it would be fine. Well, Boris, just remember, y'all have saunas. And some fantastic looking women that like to sit around in saunas too. I've seen some. Oh, look, I got a bot. Awesome. Boris has been waiting for that guy to show up all day. Thank you, Boris. I appreciate it. I wish I could take care of it myself, but on this app, can't do it. It won't let you. Network to Wi-Fi. No, Wi-Fi is going to be a weak, unstable network connection as well. Well, Martin, how are you feeling tonight? If you're still having issues with your throat, I would suggest going to a lighter stick. I do realize you do tend to enjoy your stronger, more full-flavored sticks, but every once in a while, smoking something lighter and letting the throat have a little bit of a rest is worth it. Oh, okay, very cool. And for all of y'all, I don't know what the fire department's doing over there, but they are making a hell of a racket, huh? Howdy, James Stumbo. Great to see you, sir. Yes, Martin. Some of those Gloria R number 5s are quite airy. I understand that. That's why I always suggest punch cutting small, and then if it's not enough, you can always open that, which is one of the advantages of punch cutting a cigar to begin with, is you can always go back and cut it to really open it up. Some cigars are just going to be real loose pack and just way too much airflow. Now, yeah, the V cut. Now, a cool thing about the V cut is if you do one side. Cliff, I'm sorry about that. I tried switching. Yeah. It's still doing it. Back to Wi-Fi. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, my internet is kind of unstable today, and I apologize about that. So if you take a V cut one way straight across and it doesn't have enough draw, you can always V cut it again in an X, or as best as you can get an X, and that'll open it up quite a bit. Martin, I'm not sure that they call that a crown cut, but I just call it a double V cut. And there's some cigars that I've had to double V cut. But not so much with the Calibre V cut. Because that one, well, I don't want y'all to take this wrong, but at the shop I worked at, mostly guys, we wouldn't say this when women were there present, but I have no problems telling y'all now. We would call it the coochie cut. Because with the Calibre cut, it cut deep. And I figure if I'm going to V-cut a cigar, I might as well get it all done at once, not have to worry about it from that point on. Some V-cuts just did not make the cut, so to speak. There's my transmission jumping again. I'm sorry, people. I can believe, though, that with all of the first responder vehicles heading out, that they might be tying up all of the bandwidth that's in this area. It's not my fault. Is my problem. And if you need proof that I had a bunch of first responder vehicles go by, all you had to do was listen in. Oh, goodness. I always kind of put a silent prayer in for those guys, though. Statement of fact. Your police and your firefighters, your first responders in general, the only good day they will ever have is a boring day. But not only is that good for them, that's good for the whole community. A boring day for the first responders means nothing bad happened. And that's just a good thing. As far as our military goes, I don't think they ever really have boring days. There's always something that you're stuck having to do. A lot of it's boring. That's still not a good day in the military. I mean, I guess if you're out there on the front lines, that's a good day. Boring is really good when you're staring across an open zone and you hope that nobody shows up that you have to shoot. Okay, I'll agree with that. Wind's picking up, temperatures are dropping, and the first responders keep going. I have no idea what's going on. Sounds like fire trucks out there, though, so if it was an accident, it was a bad one. Little small fender benders, they'll put a cop, well, SUVs around here, and maybe an ambulance. Real bad ones, they'll bring the full-size trucks out there. And I heard the full-size trucks go by. That's where they got all the jaws of life, though. So have to have a vehicle that can carry the equipment. Well, for whatever they're doing, I hope everything works out well for everybody involved. So let's see. We don't have a Robert going on live later today, but Dingus McSwine said he's going to try and do a live test run on his system. That should make Martin happy. Because transmission is unstable due to weak network connection. Again, yay. Hey, and there it goes. That's gone away. So, all right. Yeah, Martin should be ecstatic that James is trying to test out the system, because that means two of y'all are going to be putting out programming with real high production value, especially compared to me and my little phone. I know y'all are just trying to embarrass me. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to take out the computer and bring it out here just for that. So, James Stumboat, do you got any good wrestling on tonight? Just asking. Well, I appreciate that, Ben. I'm not going to upgrade. I will stay just the regular old tailgate. I get a job, I'll probably put together a studio and really, really throw it out. Howdy, Mark Welsh Piper 62. How are you doing today, sir? No wrestling on Thursdays. Well, if everybody is saying that it's much colder that farther north than me, so God, that means everybody, y'all stay warm. Because you're all part of the YTPC, and we want y'all to be well. Woo! There we go, Boris. I will be dead asleep by that point. All right, so for my Canadian friends, I'm sorry, but I've got to cheer against you in about 6 hours. If I can wake up. Probably won't. Oh, not a problem, Mark. Great to see you, sir. Always is great to see you. I guess the only thing that made me sad about the Olympics this year was that Shaun White didn't medal in his last ever attempt. Oh, yeah. You know, there's trucker guys going all over the world doing these convoys and such. Gotta hope they get done with what they're doing and get a good resolution to what they're doing, so that they can put the planet back on the right direction. Ah, but you'll be going back to work Sunday night. Okay, that's a good thing. I saw you say that if you missed a full week, you were going to be docked 2 weeks worth of pay, though. That's like... That's horrible. That's horrible. Boris, USA did have a decent team. That they're playing for the bronze medal says they weren't the greatest of teams, but as you pointed out, Boris, it's getting to the point where they're pretty much professionals. Woo! 750 pounds lost. That's that's a pretty hard chunk of change to just not have. That's what? 3, 4, or 5 LCS Briars? You could have had a whole collection for that. Damn you, COVID. I'm not gonna. Oh yeah, reigning champions taking third place at best, which means somebody else is now going to be the reigning champion. Well, Mark, we're grateful that you're still here also, and here's an interesting thing that I've just read that seems kind of strange. The year previous of the vaccination, we had a certain number of deaths from COVID. And since the vaccination, we have had a certain number of deaths from COVID. And the number since vaccination has been higher than the number pre-vaccination. Which is, I'm not trying to stir up anything there, is just say that's what the numbers are showing at present. I'm not lying. I'm not trying to make this up. This is not trying to tell you about vaccinations or non-vaccinations. This is just, that's just a strange coincidence of the numbers. Boris, now that's hilarious. Sweden versus Scotland. I mean UK in the final. James, the COVID vaccination since it's become the mainstream thing, there have been more deaths in a 12-month period since the vaccination for it than previous to the vaccination for it. Budapest. I didn't realize that cigars would be cheaper there. That's an interesting thing. James, that would be all the vaccination possibilities combined versus no possibilities of vaccinations. So they're saying that the number of people who have died since the vaccinations are now higher than the number who died previous of the vaccinations. No, James, I'm not saying it's better to not have the vaccinations. I mean, I'm still alive. I haven't had the vaccination. And there's a lot of people that died after having the vaccination. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that that's an interesting variable that people are not consciously talking about. I believe if you want to have the vaccination, get it. And if you're against having the vaccination, don't get it. And if you're in one of those countries where if you don't have the vaccination, they're going to find the hell out of you, I would suggest getting it. But me personally, I'm just going to depend upon my psoriasis and not worry about it. Woo! Welsh, that is a damn good cigar. Yeah, you could flip that whole box and make 10 times your money. That wouldn't be a bad thing, huh? Someone break out the Dragnet music. Just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts. Which, that gets me to thinking about the Copper Clapper Caper. Personally, one of my favorite bits that Johnny Carson ever did. And if you've never seen Johnny Carson doing the Copper Clapper Caper, put that into YouTube at some point very soon, and you will see what in my mind was one of the funniest bits ever on the Johnny Carson Tonight Show. Well, Boris says Estonia has really, really good prices on cigars. At least according to what he pays in comparison to Finland prices. I've not been to Estonia, I think, ever. Good Lord, it's getting dark out here. I'm gonna tell y'all what. Being that Robert's not going to be going live, and I've been on here almost an hour and a half, and the cigar is pretty much starting to get to that nub portion where I'm starting to burn my fingers, I'm going to get out of here pretty quickly. Oh yeah, the old Tonight shows, especially you go back to those black and white Tonight shows. You got to go back a ways for that, but hilarious. People just don't know. All right, that's enough of that one. It's pretty much cached. Let's go into the jar. So as per normal, Welsh, I didn't know that either. That's a good thing to know. As per normal, though, y'all put Robert in your prayers. Him fighting the COVID. Hopefully he'll get over it. That way he can be back to us next week. And y'all remember, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Do the best you can with that. If all you can do is just support or pray for one another, it's good enough. And you know what? As per always, y'all remember, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and hopefully I'll see you soon. And thanks y'all for being here. I appreciate it. Bye for now.